Good afternoon and welcome to all of you. Welcome to Lunch with Linda. I'm Linda Daniels and you are now inside Northampton Wolves. I'm back today in my regular position and I am so grateful and thankful for all of you who join us. I know there are a lot of choices out there, so I really feel honored that so many of you choose to come and show up on Monday afternoons to watch and see what's new and exciting in Northampton Wolves. Today is January 22nd. Can you believe it? The 22nd. We're almost done with January and it is cold. But if you watch the weather, we are going to start to see a little bit of a warm up this week, our January thaw. But it has been brutally cold here, especially over the weekend. If you do venture out this week and come to downtown Northampton, I just want to tell you, you can check the Northampton Live site for a little map of all of the ice sculptures that were done this weekend. They put one up in front of Florence Bank, which is almost across the street from us, and down a little bit further, there's one in front of Anna Bandiera, the Mickey Mouse one, a cactus one. I want to go over to that cactus and put a scarf around it because it's a cactus like this.
Oh, yeah.
I want to put a scarf around it and take a picture of it. But there are a lot of ice sculptures out there. A to Z has one. There's one in front of the hotel. A bunch of them up and down the street. They are lovely. And I am always in such awe of sculptors. I just can't imagine looking at a big block of ice or marble and actually creating something from that. It just is mind-blowing as far as I'm concerned. So with this warmer weather, they will start to melt. So these next couple of days are the perfect opportunity for you to get out and take advantage of a nice little stroll around town, seeing all of those ice sculptures that were done this weekend. It was their Downtown Business Association's first annual Winterfest in Pulaski Park. They had tents of hot chocolate and s'mores, music, and a lot of people came out in spite of the 19-degree weather. We had hats and shawls and scarves on sale, and we still have socks from online in Germany. They produce sock yarn, but they also make socks, and we got a big order of already made socks in just before the festival, so it was nice to see some of those sold. We don't have them online, right? We don't have pictures of them online because there are so many different colors, but we do have them front and center here in the store. So if you want to come in and maybe pick up a quick gift, or you know somebody who needs a nice warm pair of socks for a while, we do still have more of those left. I know you're going to start asking about the sweater, so I'm going to talk about it right now. This is Autumn Alpine from Caitlin Hunter, and I started this a while ago, and I've gotten the yoke done. Look at that. So I've just split the sleeve stitches and the body stitches, and I have one of the sleeves on cord and everything else on needles because I have a plethora of circular needles that I can use as holders. And I wanted to show it to you today because I'm really happy with how it's turning out, and I can't wait to get this thing finished and really wear it. I did steam block the yoke a little bit because I knew I was going to talk about it today. The yarns that I used, the green, the background, is the Patagonia from Juniper Moon Farm. We have lots of colors of this in the store. And then I used almost a full skein. I still have some yarn left of the Freya. This is the, I think it's called her shawl balls. This isn't the color that I used. I don't have the color that I used anymore, but it comes like this. So you could knit this because it's neck down. You could start from the outside and end with the darker color, or you could start from the inside of the ball and end with the brighter color. But what I really wanted to point out to you guys is the difference in the two yarns. I was telling Kate about it. This is one of the things that tends to make people stop and not knit, or stop before they're even chosen yarn. The Patagonia is a plied yarn. It's strands twisted around each other. I'm untwisting it so maybe you can see it. So the yarn has a certain texture to it with that twist in it. But the Freya is what we call a single ply. There's just that one strand of yarn that makes it up. It's not a plied yarn. And a lot of times people will think that they cannot combine the two. And here's living proof that you can. It just adds a certain depth. When you look up close and personal, you can begin to see that there is a difference in how the two yarns actually look together, but it works. You don't have to have the same brand from the same company in as many different colors as you want. You don't have to even have the same texture. You can do plied and single ply. You can do a mohair and a plied yarn. All of it will just add another dimension to your color work. So I love this. This is Autumn Alpine, like I said, from Caitlin Hunter. We have the Alpine hat in the store that we did with the little midi skeins that she does. And you can come in and look at that too if you want. But this, I'm really, really thrilled with. Hey, Jean. And I hope you like it too. So hopefully in another week or so, I will be wearing this one in the store.
Autumn Alpine.
Yeah. I had a day yesterday, and if you follow us on Instagram, you know that we are tongue-in-cheek having a little Sophie scarf race. So Decker is making one, and Kate is making one, and my intention is to make one as well. And Decker has already, she's probably even further in. Kate, have you worked on yours at all? Kate's worked on hers a little bit. And my intention was yesterday to wind the yarn up and actually start it, because I've got a lot of other stuff that I have been doing, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Instead, what happened is we had the first half hour was relatively quiet. I got into a couple of projects I probably shouldn't have, like cleaning out the drawer. Then my daughter and her boyfriend showed up to help with the computer. If you were in the shop on Saturday, by late Saturday, I had a splitting headache because our computer, instead of just buzzing nonstop, was sounding like a duck. And customers standing at the desk were going like, whose phone is that? What is that weird noise? And all day long, poor Georgia and I were listening to wah, wah. Okay, so Jason, Adrian's boyfriend, is a computer whiz, and he volunteered to come in and take a look at it. They came in, they took the POS computer away. We quickly hooked up the other computer so I could still cash people out. And all of a sudden, there were 10 people in the store. I'm like now breaking out in a cold sweat, trying to take care of people. People wanted yarn wound. And I dropped the key to the register into what I thought was either a trash basket or the drawer. I couldn't open the drawer. And that day, out of all days, people wanted to pay with cash. People never pay with cash.
It's just how it is.
So it was
we love it when people pay us cash.
Crazy. We love it. That's not to say I don't want cash. We do. It's one of the things you're going to hear us talk about more and more. We love cash. But it was just a technological nightmare for me for a little bit yesterday. And today, starting this, now the Prism app that we use, everything's different again. So we don't have a title and we don't have a date on this. We don't know why, but we're gonna work through that. So anyway, because of all of that, I didn't get the yarn wound up for the Sophie scarf until this morning. So I have managed to wind it up. I cast on the 6 stitches and I did the first 8 rows. Ta-da!
She's gonna win.
So Well, I don't want to say because Decker will do nothing. Decker will stay up all night knitting hers, right?
Yeah.
Right, Decker? If you're here, she'll stay up all night and knit hers
To win.
just to say she beat me. But we're going to update you on Wednesdays when Decker comes in with her now I bet finished scarf. So if you want to jump in, go right ahead. And but otherwise just kind of keep track as we do something kind of fun and silly to get through the rest of January. One of the things that I did have to do, which prevented me from doing the Sophie scarf, was some finishing work. And I wanted to show all of you, Decker, stinker.
Yeah.
I wanted to show all of you the sweater that I did for a customer. She knit this sweater for her brother-in-law and asked me to put it together for her. And I think it's really, really beautiful. It's not going to show as true a navy. This is a really dark navy. It's looking kind of gray on the screen, but it's a really deep blue and has this wonderful placket front neck, but with a crew neck, not a collar, and then the two different cables that set up the rest of the pattern. So I finished this for her. She'll be in on Wednesday to get it. We'll just pick some buttons and be able to do it. But I think she did an amazing job. I don't know if Joan watches us or not, but Joan, your knitting is beautiful. And it really came out nice.
Yeah.
And see how big it is? This is why people don't always knit for the men in their life.
Because it's a big sweater.
It's a big sweater. She knit this one out of the Revive, which is a recycled wool. It is a rustic feeling wool. It's not real rough and itchy, but it's not a superwash. It really has a nice kind of smoothness to it, but it is not superwash and it is recycled, but it gives a good heft to the sweater. So that will be a nice warm sweater for him. So that was one of the things that I spent some time doing this week. And coincidentally, Trendsetter Yarns came out with a bunch of brand new patterns for men, just specifically for men. And when I saw them, I was really impressed because they were nice looking, easy enough for an intermediate knitter to do, and interesting. I think men will wear them. It's one of the reasons why I brought this scarf. This is the Kinsale shawl, that geometric shawl. One of the patterns that they came out with for a man is a not quite matching, but similar to scarf. Now this pattern is written for size 13 needles and a super bulky weight yarn. You don't have to do that. You don't have to make it that big, because I think that not only is it really wide and long, but that super bulky for a scarf isn't going to appeal necessarily to a lot of guys. They tend to want, and like a lot of us do, tend to want things a little bit less heavy around their neck. So you can take this same pattern and instead of doing size 13 needle, take it down to a size 9 needle and use a worsted weight yarn. And for that matter, you can use the same yarn from Trendsetter that we used to do that shawl. This is the Kinsale or Kinsale. And it comes in some great contrasting colors that I think would look really beautiful in that shawl. And I've brought over more colors than you actually need to make that shawl. It's garter stitch, so it's easy to knit with just a little bit of color blocking, a little bit of a diagonal, and then just some striping to it. And the really nice thing is that we've put that yarn on sale. But I can't remember what.
I'll check it.
And we've got a lot of it left. We certainly have enough to do this in several different colorways. So that's one idea. Especially with Valentine's Day coming up. You might want to make something for that guy in your life. And then they did this really wonderful, simple V-neck pullover. And again, this is really, really easy. It's a raglan sleeve. So that's a look that a lot of men really like. And a simple V-neck. And this is done in a bulky weight yarn on a size 10 or 10.5 needle. easy enough for even a beginner. These are, I just want to double check. Yeah, this is a flat sweater, which then has to be sewn together. Now, I know everybody wants to knit in the round so that you don't have to sew it together, but I am old school. I think side seams and underarm seams add strength and straightness to a garment. I don't know if this has happened to you, but it has happened to me, especially with specific kinds of yarn. By knitting in the round, it tends to torque a little bit and go off on a slight slant. Georgia is there. So the back and forth of knit and purl is what counteracts that slanting or that torquing when you're knitting in the round. So I do not mind ever having a sweater with seams. I really like it. It hangs right. The seams add strength and stability and that straight line. Yes, you do have to sew it together. It does take time. It's not, a 15-minute process to put things together. It does take a few hours to properly sew something together, but we can show you how to do that. This is a sweater, that new sweater pattern from Trendsetter that I really, really liked a lot. This is a little bit fancier. It does have a turtleneck. Yeah, and it's a fold over turtleneck, but that can easily be turned into a crew neck if that's what your man likes. And it's full of different stitch patterns, all of which
Really cool.
are pretty easy. They're combinations of knit and purl, and I think that zigzag might have a little cable pattern to it. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked that closely at the directions yet to see what it is, but I love that. Yeah, it is a little bit of a cable. So there's a little bit of cable, lots of knits and purls, and again, on a size 9 needle in a good solid worsted weight yarn would again make a really comfortable, nice sweater. And again, done in pieces.
Getting inspired.
Yeah. And then 2 different cardigans. This one is similar to that first one, but shown in white or off-white. Of course, you don't have to do it in that color, but in a cardigan with a few buttons and a very deep V. Guys really like that deep V look as well, especially if they're into shirt and tie. It shows the tie off nicely. And then this jacket is a great outdoor adventure kind of jacket. This one, again, is a size 10 needle in a bulky weight yarn, and this is all over cables. But boy, and see how they did a lining on the neck in a different color? What a great touch that is. Really, cool. really fashionable. So they've got more, but I printed those out so that you could see them. And I brought over a basket with some of the yarns that we have that will work. The first one is the 220 Superwash Grande. This will be that chunky or bulky weight yarn, and it comes in lots of different colors. We've got the 2 grays, dark gray, light gray, and maroon. We have other colors as well. And this is a 200 gram skein. So for an average guy, like a size 42 to 44, average height, it's probably only going to take 4 or 5 of these to do a sweater in it because the skeins are so big. And then we have a lot of the Hardy Homestead in both tweed and solid colors. This yarn I absolutely love. This is a bulky weight on a size 10 or 10.5 needle. You could even use this to do that first scarf that I showed you. We've done in the store, we have the Islington Thistle sweater done out of it, but it only comes in natural colors, but every shade of natural that you can imagine, from light to dark to oatmeal to the different kinds of grays. So if you're in the mood and finally wanting to knit a sweater for a guy, we've got some ideas for you, with a word of caution, because the knitting curse is that if you knit a sweater for a man that you are not engaged or married to, you will not be engaged or married to them ever. So don't risk it. Wait until you're married. Okay, the Malabrigo knit along, the friendship shawl, is up for joining. And I'm going to send out an email with the link to join that, because if you are not on the Malabrigo email list, you will not be able to find where the registration is. I looked at their website and it's not up on their website, it's somewhere else. So I'm going to send that out. I didn't bring mine, my sample today, but we do have the Dos Tierras in here, and it's a special yarn because it's a combination. Hi, Isaac. See you later. It is a combination of alpaca and wool, and their whole theme, their whole idea, this idea of friendship, is that it's a fusion of two different worlds: the pasture where the sheep live and the mountains where the alpaca live. It's the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It's sheep and alpaca, and it symbolizes cooperation and appreciation for all of the natural treasures in the world. I've been working with it and really enjoying the way the yarn feels. The color work is amazing, and thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, the homestead yarn is really nice to work with. The colors are amazing. You can see the way the different fibers take the dye, and then they're spun tightly together. It's a yarn that they're calling a worsted weight. When you first look at it, you won't believe it. You will think that it is not a worsted weight because it is spun tightly to keep the two fibers together. Once it's knit and you block it, the fabric is going to really bloom and soften. So I can't wait to get further on my piece so I can show you. So Malabrigo is going to host the knit along. The designer, Knit Sisu, is going to host some of them. There's going to be private prizes and show off, and we're going to do some stuff here as well. As an official Malabrigo representative, we'll be having some gathering times, and I'll keep you posted on that kind of stuff. I did send out an email about the Cape trip. We put this together pretty quickly, so I get it. It's short notice. But March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd will be I think we're getting close to 15 years of having a knitting escape at the Cape. It's that weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll just tell you briefly what it is. You arrive at the hotel on Friday night, share a room, get one singly, but you're going to be responsible for getting your own hotel room. We have a potluck kind of dinner on Friday night in the captain's room, and we begin a class with some fun on Friday night. On Saturday morning, you have breakfast in the hotel, and we start class at 9. Break for lunch, start class again in the afternoon, and we usually wrap class up between 5 and 6 o'clock. Everybody goes to have dinner on their own. And then by 8:30, we come back to the hotel room and have a free kind of knit what you want night, or not, depending on how tired you are. Sunday morning, again, breakfast in the hotel. We wrap up the class session, and checkout is usually by 11 o'clock. It's a really fun weekend. Like I said, we've been doing it for almost 15 years. Last year, we had over 24 people attend, and we really had a great time. This year, we're going to be doing the Distance DK scarf by Olga Putano. Now, there was a little bit of confusion because the pictures that I sent with the email, I thought was kind of cool. She had the scarf wrapped around her head. Yeah. It's not exclusively a head wrap. It is a scarf, kind of like the Sophie scarf, meant to be tied close around the neck. But it is an exercise in heavy-duty cabling, which will be a lot of fun for those of you that either have not cabled before or really want a chance to experience and see just how heavy a cable can be and what it does to the fabric. Originally, the pattern had just a chart, which can be very intimidating, but she did just update the pattern with the written words as well. So if you're not a chart reader, no problem. You're going to have the words in front of you. You will get the pattern and needles. You will need to choose your own yarn, and we will have suggestions for that. If you want to join us, call me, call the store, email me, and I will put your name on the list. And as soon as we get the confirmation of the price, the room price from the hotel, I will let you know how to go about reserving your room, because you will need a code that you will get from me to give to the hotel so they know that you're part of the group. Lunch is included on Saturday, and I will be sending that information to you as well. So if you haven't come before, this is a wonderful, wonderful experience and opportunity. And there are a lot of retreats out there. Every single little yarn store has started to do one, but I gotta say, I think ours is a lot of fun. You get a lot of instruction, and it's much less expensive than some of the others. Especially if you have a roommate. You're basically paying for one night, your roommate pays for the other night, and then you just pay for the class session. And that was my question, Kate. Can we put information up on the website, a page about the Cape trip on the website, so that you won't be able to sign up on the website just because I don't want to take a charge card
You can put it on the
to pay for it. We can put the information on the
with the other stuff on the
yeah. So you won't be able to buy it on the website, but you will be able to find out the information on the website. So we went ahead and did it. We managed to find a weekend at the hotel, and one of the questions was, I'm doing a big Ireland trip in April, is if we could have fit it in. We decided, yes, we're going to fit it in and go ahead and do it. So there's that. We've got room still in the Strange Brew class that's coming up next month, and in the artist shawl. Here it is. And I started mine. And if you don't remember what the artist shawl looks like, it's that one. And this is a fun shawl to do because the color work is Mosaic. That's different than a Fair Isle. I've started mine, and I took a dive into my stash and came up with some skeins of yarn that were grouped together for a specific project. So I'm going to be doing in that. And guess what? Of course, I'm out of the dark brown. So I need to find something close so I can finish this last little bit. But we are doing this as a class as well. So if you would like to sign up for that, that is on the website, and we can help you choose yarn. We'll give you the pattern, and we'll get you going with some mosaic knitting. And then just one more thing. Strange Brew, blah, 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 blah. We continue to put some stuff on sale, and one of the things that we decided to put on sale to clear out and then reorder again in all new colors is the Serenity 20. So if you've been a Northampton Woolette for a while, you're pretty familiar with this. This has to have been the #1 cowl that we ever designed for the store. It's done with one skein of the Serenity 20, which comes in lots of fun hand-dyed multicolors. It is a 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. I chose one of the more solid colors to knit one of the samples out of, and it's basically a stocking net stitch with some yarn over knit two together lace work in alternating kind of stripes. Super popular. So we put the remaining skeins of Serenity at 30% off, so that now instead of $38, it's $26.20. So if you have a hankering to make another Serenity cowl, or haven't tried one and want to try, now's the time to do it. We we have it on the website or we don't, because they're very individual.
Yeah.
So the colors are not on the website, so it's going to be in store. If you trust us and call us and say, I want pinks, I want greens, we'll pick a skein for you and send it out to you like that. It'll be a little bit of a surprise.
Ooh, yeah.
For you. So, because there are, I mean, every skein is a little bit different. Look at this one.
Ooh.
Really, really fun. So when that's gone, then we'll be reordering in all brand new colors for the spring and summer. And I think that's everything I had.
A little bit about the homepage having the.
Oh, right. So something new that we're going to try. We've started to, and we're going to try and stay on top of it every day, not every day, every week after the live. Kate is going to try to move the things that I've talked about to the homepage so that as soon as you go to the website, you can be reminded. If you don't have your notebook next to you and you're not taking notes and you don't remember, you'll be able to see what yarns I talked about, what special things I might have talked about, and some patterns that I've talked about. Like she'll probably put this link up there or a picture of it or something like that. And I think that's everything. We're here Wednesday through Saturday. We will still be open on Sunday, although it might be a little bit rough. We're having some electrical lighting redone in the basement so that it's much brighter down there, and that's going to happen on Saturday and on Sunday. And I think that just about covers everything so far that I wanted to talk about. So, it's still winter. It's still January. It's still knitting time. So go and knit something. Bye.